the mysterious opening to one of the most mysterious symphonies ever composed. Schubert's Unfinished is a tantalizing masterpiece, surrounded by unanswered questions. What moved him to compose it? Why did he leave it incomplete? Did he, in fact, finish it? And if so, what's happened to the rest of it? No one's conclusively answered any of those questions, but the work only gains power from its mystery. And all this has tended to sideline consideration of the greater mystery, the music. This symphony is full of its own musical questions, like this one in the opening bars. The question is that the main theme or an introduction to the main theme? Schubert never lets on. Most introductions are longer. Compare that to the ones in Beethoven's symphonies Schubert so much admired. But if it's the main theme, it's very short, only 8 bars, and it's never heard again in the first part of the movement. But they're such an impressive 8 bars that they cast their spell over everything that happens. The upper strings introduce a shimmering idea. Many people have pointed out the frequent similarities between the first movement of the Unfinished Symphony and Schubert's C minor quartet movement, but it only recently struck me that this is a not-so-distant relative of the main theme of that quartet. In the quartet, though, the thrust is tragically downward. Here, in the symphony, it's rising. And there's the curious coincidence that the quartet, too, was unfinished. Schubert began it a couple of years before this symphony, but only got as far as the beginning of the second movement. With the symphony, he at least got into the third. What was the problem that he seemed so painfully to be struggling with? Well, let's see. Under the shimmering violins, the lower strings tap a fateful rhythm, pizzicato. I chose the word fateful rather naughtily. It was a rhythmic commonplace and one Schubert used often enough, but it is a distant relative of something quite well known. That's the fate motif of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, of course, a symphony of struggle and triumph. Was Schubert for some reason unconsciously referring to it when he conceived his B minor? Perhaps, but this isn't destined to be a Beethoven-type symphony in which the music is fashioned out of a tight web of motivic argument. In his symphony, Schubert wanted to let his melodic genius have full sway. That beautiful theme is so well known that we take it for granted, but in orchestral literature it was completely unprecedented. Such a melodious idea so early in a symphony was not unheard of, but accompanied by such atmospheric rustlings? And what about those equivocal harmonies? Most composers of the time would have written the bass line like this. That makes perfect sense with the shimmering strings. But Schubert's version is more ambiguous, more mysterious. The stamp this gives to the music is unmistakable, colouring the melody with the hint of uncertainty we felt right from the start. As the long melodic line progresses, the harmonies become more agitated and the rhythm of fate more disruptive. Something surely has to give eventually. That's certainly not comfortable, however beautiful it is. The way Schubert casts aside his main theme is almost vicious. The rhythm's called hemiola, where the music cuts across the regular 3 beats in the bar. The rhythm's emphasized by the power of the trombones, Schubert using them almost as percussion instruments. Hemiola was a rhythmic device frequently used at cadences in Baroque times. So it's curious to find a composer using it at the dawn of the Romantic era. At any rate, the effect is to put a brake on the flow of the music, which the horns and bassoons are only too glad to seize on. In just 5 seconds, Schubert overturns the tonal apple cart. Straight after B minor, the home key has been insistently hammered home, he pans away from it, leading us seamlessly to the new key, G major. A fall of a third, B to G.